So, what have we learned about swearing today?
Well, it turns out that those little
Это
words
мене розсмішив.
we're told not to say. Hey everyone, welcome back to Linguafy, the podcast where we dig into languages, learning, and the ways English connects people around the world. I'm Christina, and today I'm excited to welcome my guest, Christina, a certified English teacher with years of experience helping students improve their skills and confidence. Christina, welcome to the podcast.
Hi, Christina. Hi, everyone. Thank you for inviting me today.
It's a pleasure to have you here. And today we're diving into the world of swearing, the psychology, the science, the culture, and the strange power of the words we're not supposed to say, but everyone does anyway.
So, why do some words hit so hard? Just a few letters, and suddenly people are laughing, blushing, or getting seriously offended. What gives these so called bad words their power? And why do we keep using them even when we are told not to?
Yeah, and swearing is like hot sauce. You don't need it, but sometimes it's the only thing that makes you feel better. And just like hot sauce, if you overdo it, you will burn your chances in a job interview.
Yeah, it's true though, right? Just a one well placed swear word and you feel invincible. But use five in one sentence, and suddenly you sound like your uncle at the barbecue with too many beers in him.
Yeah, so today we're asking, why does swearing feel so good? And why does it carry so much weight? And why do we use it, even if we know we probably shouldn't? I've heard some fascinating stories about patients with left hemisphere damage. For example, due to a stroke, they often lose most language skills but retain the ability to swear. There are stroke patients who can no longer say hello or thank you, but they can still blurt out an F bomb. It sounds as if profanity is stored in a completely different drawer in the brain. Profanity is the use of rude or offensive words, often to express strong emotions like anger or frustration.
Yeah, there is a great explanation for that. Profanity doesn't travel the same neurological pathway as the most language. Standard speech is typically processed in the left hemisphere. Profanity, however, lies in more primal, deeper areas, like amygdala and basal ganglia, which is associated with emotional release that can happen with you in some difficult moments. The amygdala is particularly important when it comes to swearing. It processes emotions such as fear or anger, which is why swear words tend to carry so much power in them. And that is why people want to swear after stubbing their toe or hitting their finger with the hammer. It's just like emotional outburst. It's a psychological reaction.
Yeah, and one of the most well researched effects of swearing is its role in reducing pain. In 2009, a study by Richard Stephens at Keele University, participants who swore while keeping their hands submerged in ice cold water or were able to endure the cold for longer and reported less pain compared to those who used neutral words.
So, do you want to say that swearing relieves pain?
This analgesic effect works because swearing activates the body's stress response, increasing adrenaline and, of course, heart rate. Analgesic effect is the ability to reduce or relieve pain, which can dull the sensation of pain. However, the pain relieving effect decreases with frequent use. The studies showed that habitual swearers, those who curse regularly in everyday life, had less of analgesic benefit compared to those who reserve swearing for intense situations. So, in a sense, The power of profanity lies in its occasional, emotionally charged use.
Yeah, swearing it's like a psychological reaction. It helps you to offload frustration, fear, anger. In psychology, this term is sometimes called catharsis. It helps people to offload emotions when they feel overwhelmed.
Do you mean psychologists encourage their patients to use swear words?
In therapy context, psychologists sometimes even allow their patients to swear because it helps them to show authenticity and honesty. When you swear after dropping your mobile phone in the toilet, it's not because you forgot better words. It's because you need some word that will be as intense as the situation.
Yeah, in that kind of moment, I think you don't want a polite phrase. You need something that hits as hard as the
As the situation,
situation.
yes.
You know what's fascinating? Swear words aren't born bad. They become bad because we treat them that way, especially around kids. Just think about it. A toddler, for example, hears a word, maybe on TV or maybe from an older sibling, and repeats it without having any clue what it means. But the moment an adult gasps, scolds them, or bursts out laughing, that word suddenly becomes special. It's like they've discovered the magic spell.
Yeah, that's how taboo is created.
Exactly. And you know, it's not really about the word itself, it's about the reaction it triggers. And the more we tell kids not to say certain words, the more power those words seem to hold. It becomes kind of forbidden fruit or test of boundaries, a way to feel grown up or to rebel just a little. So, in a way, adults are the ones giving those words their punch, just making such a big deal out of them. So, how do we stop ourselves from letting a swear word slip out?
Paradoxically, swearing doesn't mean that you have low self-control. Actually, studies they suggest the opposite. People who swear frequently they tend to score higher on the measure of verbal fluency. Also, some studies show the link between swearing and honesty because it's really difficult to fake the strong language. A 2017 paper in Social Psychology and Personality Science found that people who swear frequently they are less likely to lie or deceive.
Mhm. Yeah, and the idea that swearing might influence sales in marketing is a more recent area of study. It turns out that under certain conditions, some people think that swearing can improve how a message is received, depending, of course, on the context and the audience. Sales is about building rapport and trust. To build rapport means to create friendly, trusting connection with someone through good communication and mutual understanding. And sometimes informal language, including a well placed swear word, can be an effective tool to break down barriers and create a more authentic connection. In customer facing roles, the use of swear words can signal emotional honesty, helping to humanize the salesperson. A study published in the Journal of Consumer Research found that customers were more likely to respond positively to salespeople who used informal, relatable language. Swearing, when used sparingly, of course, was found to make the salesperson appear more authentic, especially in industries where professionalism is expected, but personal connection is valued.
Yeah, you know, there is also such a factor which is very important that is mirroring. So it's when the salesperson reflect the emotions of the customer. It sometimes it builds connection between them and gives the sense of empathy. Research shows that mirroring customers' emotion it can change the tone and show that a salesperson is relatable and it creates some connection between the customer and salesperson. And it builds trust and likelihood to buy something. A subtle, empathetic swear can build emotional bridge between the salesperson and customer and show that they are on the same wavelengths.
On the same wavelength means thinking alike or understanding each other very well.
And for example, in some high tech startups or creative industries, swearing is like a commonplace. But in other industries like law or finance, so it's can see as lack of professionalism. So it can backfire the conservative atmosphere.
To backfire means to have the opposite effect of what was intended, often causing problems instead of solving them.
So that's why swearing has to be controlled and so not to be seen as the breach of decorum, potentially harming the sales.
Breach of decorum means a violation of accepted social manners or proper behavior. Yeah, that's very interesting. But of course, there are a lot of risks involved, I think. Not all audiences are comfortable with swearing, and context is everything. Research from the Journal of Language and Social Psychology found that people who encounter swearing in formal business context are more likely to view the swearer as less competent and less professional. This effect is particularly pronounced in industries where swearing is not the norm, such as finance, healthcare, or education.
And I also believe that in written conversation, in written language, swearing is also inappropriate.
Yes, moreover, excessive swearing can also erode credibility. To erode credibility means to gradually damage or reduce people's trust in someone or something, and appear unprofessional, particularly in written communication. In email marketing or formal presentations, even a single curse word can derail an otherwise well crafted pitch. The same study that found positive results for verbal swearing showed that written swearing in emails was 12% less likely to result in a sale.
Yeah, so all in all, in sales, an occasional swear word can be good. It can humanize the pitch and make the salesperson seem more relatable and honest.
Absolutely. However, the key lies in moderation. Too much swearing or swearing in the wrong context can damage credibility, making the speaker appear unprofessional. While swearing can sometimes be funny, honest, or can help you reduce pain, it's not without its downsides. Here are a few ways it can have a bad influence, especially depending on how, when, and where it's used. Firstly, I think it can offend or even alienate people. Swearing is often considered impolite or inappropriate, especially in professional, formal, or even multicultural environments. What sounds casual for one person might be deeply disrespectful to another. And a few strong words in the wrong setting can shut down a conversation, damage trust, or create tension, even if you didn't mean it that way.
Yeah, absolutely. And moreover, it can become like a verbal habit. Using strong language can often turn into a lazy habit when people start to replace their normal, thoughtful, and precise language with the swear words in order to offload themselves from frustration, anger, or use humor.
Yeah, you're right. And it can also set a problematic example for kids. Children absorb language quickly, especially when it's dramatic or emotionally charged. If adults swear regularly, kids may imitate it without understanding. They don't understand when or where this language is inappropriate. Even if they don't know what it means, they quickly learn that these words get reactions.
Absolutely, and also swearing during some arguments or disagreements can escalate the conflict.
Escalate conflict means to make a disagreement or fight more intense or serious.
It can make you seem more like aggressive, yes, and less respectful, even if you're just venting. Moreover, it can ruin your reputation and damage your reputation at school, at the workplace. Swearing can impact the way people see you, especially when you are in the leadership or teaching roles. Yes, it makes you appear less professional and very reactive. And people might remember how you say something more than what you say, especially when it's loud and colorful.
You're absolutely right. And sometimes swearing can feel good in the moment, but too much can rub people the wrong way. So use it wisely and know when to save it for the moments that really matters. So, if swearing is this hardwired and powerful, does everyone swear the same way? Actually, not even close. Let's take a trip across languages and cultures to see how other societies curse and what their swear words reveal about them.
Yes, swearing it's a universal linguistic phenomenon. And but the special phrases and expressions they vary significantly across the cultures. What seems offensive in one culture can be a commonplace in another one. Everything depends on the culture, on social values, and on traditional context.
Yes, and in many traditionally religious societies, profanity often revolves around sacred figures, objects, or even rituals. Take French speaking Quebec, for example. There, many harsh expressions are actually taken straight from Catholic vocabulary. Terms for the altar, the chalice, the host. Why? Because during a time when the church dominated life in Quebec, using those words casually was kind of a rebellion. And in Arabic speaking regions, for example, offensive expressions often involve invoking the divine. Invoking the divine means calling upon God or a higher power, or saying something disrespectful, especially about someone's family, about someone's mother. So these are serious offenses in cultures, and especially in those cultures where family and faith are intertwined.
Yeah, that's interesting. Talking about English and German and other European countries, their swearing language includes something that is connected with hygiene and parts of body parts. These words tend to shock people because normally we don't use them in polite conversations. And even though these kinds of words and expression, they are more like a habit, not intention. And in some places, they even lost their power and they are seen just as a sense of humor, just humorous and sarcasm.
Hmm. That's very interesting. In many Slavic cultures like Serbia, some of the strongest language is based around family relationships, particularly mothers. These aren't casual phrases, they carry heavy emotional and social weight. In East Asian countries, on the other hand, direct vulgar language is less common. Vulgar expressions are words or phrases that are rude, crude, or offensive, often related to sex, bodily functions, or strong emotions. Instead, people express anger or insult more indirectly by questioning someone's honor, manners, or sense of dignity. You might not hear anything explicit, but the message is clear.
So, swearing isn't always aggressive. Sometimes people use strong language in order to show comedy or creativity or even political protest. Take Ukraine, for example. Some phrases that used to be seen as aggressive, they become widely used slogans of resistance. They are bold, defiant, and full of national pride. In England, in English, British English, there is is a long tradition of turning crude words and expressions in something like humor, yes, through sarcasm, understatement, or sometimes what is called pop talk.
Yeah. Pop talk refers to informal, casual conversation, usually in a relaxed setting like a pub or bar. And you know what's really interesting is that there are people who speak two or more languages. So, in multilingual people, as research shows, they often feel swear words more strongly in their first language because that's the language which is tied to their early emotions and early experiences. You might be fluent in English, but you will probably curse in the language that your parents called you in. So, Christina, what are the swearing words in English?
Most swearing and taboo expressions in English are connected to religion, body parts, bodily processes, especially those associated with sexual activity and using the toilet. However, those that are connected with religion, they are weaker than those connected with the body parts.
Okay, so if you want to know more about English swearing words, you can download the file that we prepared for you in our Telegram channel. You can find the link under the video. But notice that they are marked according to their strength.
However, if you are a language learner, remember that sometimes it's difficult to know how strong this language is and how to use it in an appropriate way. So, language learners, we recommend to avoid using such type of language.
So, after everything we've explored, how swearing affects the brain and how it varies across cultures, how it can relieve pain or stir up outrage, we are left with one question. Should we stop swearing or should we be swearing more?
Swearing can offend people, reinforce bad habits, harm your credibility in professional space, cause unintended hurt. Think of swearing like a salt. A little goes long way, but dump it on everything and suddenly nothing has flavor.
Yes, but on the other hand, swearing relieves pain and stress, builds emotional honesty, enhances self expression, can be even empowering. Sometimes, the most human thing you can do is let a word fly when life hits you where it hurts.
So, what have we learned about swearing today?
Well, it turns out that those little words we were told not to say, they are doing a lot of heavy lifting.
Yes, swearing can help us to reduce pain, release anger, build social bonds. It can even bring people together through humor and honesty, as they are emotional, cultural, psychological, and deeply human.
But like any powerful language, it comes with consequences. What shocks one person might feel harmless to another. And what helps one speaker express frustration might leave another feeling hurt, left out, or judged.
Yeah, whether we are dropping those words in private or hold them for the public, everything comes with intention and awareness.
Yes. So, should we stop swearing or swear more? Maybe it's not about more or less, but when, why, and how we choose to use language. And this language has really emotional power.
Yeah, because in the end, swearing, it's not about being bad or rude. It's just about being human.
I'm only human after all. I'm only human after all. Don't put the blame on me. Don't put the blame on me.
Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to follow, share, and leave a clean comment.
And hey, if you have a creative way how to avoid swearing, we will be really happy to hear about it.
Bye!
Слава Богу, хоч хтось зі мною рішив про матюки поговорити.